Um, Welcome to Coffee with the Councilors today. And we have a few people coming in. Hopefully we will have more as the hour goes on, but I'm going to check and see. We have Betty Guerin, and we have Betsy Ayers, and we have Debatia, and we have Jan on the phone. And today we have with us Bruce and Trevor. So let's see, Bruce, maybe you can give us an update on what's going on in the city.
Okay. Morning, everybody. I think most folks are aware that we are working on the Cannon Beach Elementary, calling it a rejuvenation until we come up with another name. And we've gone and had, I think it was 5 sessions or 6 sessions where the public came in. We also had representatives of the tribe. And so we went through that whole process, and the mayor did a presentation on what his concept was for the project. And so at this time, we are moving forward with that concept. It's on the website if you want to see it. And the discussion at, I think it was the 10th, February 10th, was when that meeting is the one you would probably want to go to. That's when that presentation was made. Any questions on Cannon Beach Elementary?
Does anybody have any questions about Cannon Beach Elementary?
Just happy to know that you guys are working so hard. It's a great project.
Thank you. It is a great project. We're excited.
I guess the only thing I have to say is, well,
Yeah, go ahead, Betsy.
you know, I know this is another subject, sort of, except it's happening right there at the elementary school quite frequently. Are the elk and the people that are stopping there, is there any discussion at Public Works or anywhere about, I know what Cannon Beach doesn't want are a lot more signs about telling people how to act like adults, but I'm just so worried someone's going to get hurt there. You know, I certainly don't know what the solution is, except maybe a sign that says, you know, these animals are wild, stay back or something. I don't know. Of course, you'd have to hang one around every elk's neck. That probably wouldn't work out so well.
There you go. Hell, maybe.
What we're doing is we're putting information on the website about being, safe around the elk. The chamber is doing the same thing. An issue with this, as far as signs, is you never know where they're going to show up. And so we would have to just put signs everywhere. And so, we're hoping that people, I think, most people are respectful. I have seen some people that were being careless, I thought. But fortunately, we've not had an incident.
No, thank goodness.
Yeah. So I think yeah.
Maybe once the masking signs can come down hopefully in the next year or so, hopefully, those could be replaced with, something about respecting wildlife. It's wild, or I don't know. I can't think of any little catchy phrase. I'm not a, advertising person, but someone could come up with something more clever than I am sure to just kind of let people know this isn't a petting zoo, and these are not your cows standing around in the field,
Yeah. Yep. You're correct.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. I had the unmute. Anyway, hi. Good morning.
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 Let's wake up. I need to wake up. So question about the school. Don Stasny, why haven't we, what are we thinking about Don Stasny?
I met with Don Stasny. No, I'm sorry, I met with him once. I walked the property with him and I responded to his comments. They were extremely well thought out. And as we get into more detail, we need to, take a close look at some of the recommendations that he's made.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know who you could get that could be better because, I mean, he did all of the Portland State American Indian Center there, the Warm Springs Indian Center. He's been a renowned urban architect. He loves Cannon Beach more than anybody. He's had a home here for years. So and he had some really well thought out questions that about, the infrastructure and paying for it and maintenance costs being double in 10 years and so forth. So how are you going to pay for it all over the years, and with probably 2 full-time people that you're going to have to get to manage it with maintenance and scheduling? And will it bring in any revenue? Are you having any thoughts about how you're going to bring in revenue on this?
I think that when you have a larger event, like a concert or something, you can charge, but I don't think that we're going to make a lot of money on that, because we're not going to, charge like, a great concert hall or something in Seattle, and you still have to pay for the talent. And so we will be able to make some money off of it. But I think that one of the decisions that policy decisions that council is going to need to make is, do we want to set up a structure where there's charges for everything so that we can pay for make sure we can pay all the costs? Or do we want to make it available, reasonably or for free for meeting groups, that sort of thing? So that's all stuff that's going to have to, be thought out as we get closer. Hopefully we will have some, if we are able to use the TLT money, potentially, if we were to pay off whatever loan we would need, there would be some money left over every year. But we're trying to find ways to do it so that there's no cost directly to the taxpayers. But a lot of that will be driven by decisions. Do we charge? Do we not charge? And how do we make that up?
So you're not thinking about a conference type of situation where you bring in people for conferences and book hotels and so forth?
We would love to do that. And we talked to the chamber. The chamber is not very excited about the idea. But that was really one of the driving factors when we started, was to be able to bring, small groups in and have meeting rooms available in an incredible site, historical site, a beautiful site, nature, so that people would say, hey, yes, we want to go, we want to meet there, in this renovated school. But we're not getting a lot of positive comments back on that.
Wow, that's kind of surprising to me. You'd think that the hotels and restaurants and gift shops would be thrilled to have something that was drawing people in. Isn't that their whole shtick?
Yes, and some of the pushback is that there's not many hotels that are really close to it. And so sometimes people have a reluctance to walk very far. I would think that walking through downtown Cannon Beach would be a pretty exciting thing to do if I was coming from someplace else. But those are barriers that they see that, I've been to conferences where I had to get in a car and drive to get to the conference center, and I was on property. It was that big. So, but anyway, we're not getting a lot of support from that sector.
Do we need their support?
No, I think that, but one thing that everybody's got to remember, and it depends on what funding source we decide to use. But this thing, virtually everything I can think of that could go on there would attract tourists. And that would be concerts, that would be the history, cultural things, nature. There's all kinds of things, and those are all things that visitors would like to, be a part of. So I'm comfortable from that standpoint, but I really wish that, we could, we talk about trying to get more people here, like in the shoulder season. And, that would just seem to be, a natural fit. So anyway, that's,
Well, yeah, and we have a nice shuttle service that works at some of the bigger motels have their own car that they drive people to restaurants in. And I don't understand I think that just kind of mystifies me. And most of the business owners are also local people. I don't quite get why they wouldn't be pretty gung ho about this, but I guess more will be revealed.
Yeah, I think it's pretty early yet to even be going there because we don't even know what we're going to be, how we're going to use it yet. And
Yeah,
I think putting that negativity on it right now is probably a little too soon because sometimes people have to wait and see what is available and what the resource is before they think of ideas of the way to use it when it's actually done. So
yeah. good
I
point.
think
Yeah.
I think it's just a little too early to be even worrying about that.
But we can plant seeds.
You can what?
You can plant some seeds in your
There you
head.
go. Yeah.
I mean,
Well, as long as they're positive seeds and not negative, and the chamber several years ago tried to market Cannon Beach as a place for small conferences to come to. I don't know if you remember that campaign or not, but it was, we have small, intimate little rooms that you can have your meetings in these various hotels, and that campaign didn't really get off the ground. So I think the chamber now is remembering that campaign and thinking, well, that'll never happen at the school. But that's not necessarily true. So I think we have to see what we offer at the school before we start going to some of these places and saying, this is what we offer. Maybe we can, form a partnership with you on this.
yeah, I like that partnership. I think that you have to look at it that way. Yeah, definitely. And brainstorming, they can be in on the brainstorming too.
Well, we've invited them.
Yeah. I'm hearing, from lots of people about, they're going to raise our taxes. Oh my God, that's such an issue for people. I mean, it's such an issue. And, when it comes to the water thing, I mean, we've got to do it. We've got to do the infrastructure stuff because look what just happened in Texas. And yeah, there is going to be some more taxes and there is going to be all of that in the future. I mean, a water source is like so scary not to have. So I think that is just a no-brainer. Anyway, okay, well, too early is what I'm hearing then. Okay, too early to address.
Well, I think it is right now. I
Okay,
mean,
well,
I think it has to be in the back of our mind, but I think it's really too early to be pushing anything until we know what we're going to do there.
Okay, well,
And that's just me talking. That's not the rest of the council. So, Bruce, do you have anything else that you'd like to update us on?
well, it sounds like, my guess is most of you are following the infrastructure work that was just referenced, and that is that we have a system that's like 50 to 70 years old, and a lot of the pipe is concrete and other things. And, everybody knows at some point you need to do some replacements, and staff is placing a high priority on the lines that come down from the springs. And it's kind of a zigzag that it does. It comes down a ways, it gets treated, and then it gets pumped up to a water tank. And then from the water tank, there's a line that comes down, it's around Sunset Boulevard. And that's where it connects, and then it sends water north and south from there. And we think that's the first place that we should start because, if we don't have water to put in the system, then it doesn't matter what you've done every place else. So that's where we're looking to start. It's not an inexpensive process. And I have to say that I'm very proud of Public Works because they've done an amazing job finding us good loans, grants. We've had several loans that were 1% for 30 to 40 years and 50% principal forgiveness. So we have to pay back half of what we borrowed over 40 years at 1%. So those, that's a heck of a deal. We're also have been directed by council to get several projects what they're calling shovel ready, which means we're ready to go to bid. Because let me see, it was after the Great Recession, and then there's been other times in our history where to stimulate the economy, they promoted public works projects, infrastructure projects to get people to work. And so we are doing that. We've got several projects that if the funds come along, as a matter of fact, we're being, kind of, we have people that are in the loan business, like with Business Oregon, that sort of thing. They're like, we have this money and we want to move it. So, let us know what you need. And that's all part of the federal program to try to get people to work. So that's what we've been talking about. We are going to bring those projects to the budget committee in probably April or May. And then council will have that discussion and we'll decide what we're going to move forward with. But again, the emphasis is on making sure that we have a resilient system to get the water down from the springs down to the city. And it's not just the lines. We have to replace the water tank. Because the water tank was built before there was really seismic requirements. And if that tank fails, we have no way to put pressure in the system. So we have no water distribution. So it's the lines and the tank.
Well, there was just an earthquake down in Bandon, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yep, and we are in the worst zone, what's it called? Zone X or something, level X? Yeah, we are in the highest category for the probability of seismic events. So staff and council feels that it's important that we deal with those things.
If there's anything I can do to put it out there to people and talk about it, because I'm totally a supporter of this. So if I can help you in any way, let me know.
Okay, thanks, Deb. And if you can refer, I'll get you the date of the meeting.
Yeah.
But there was a detailed presentation done by Karen in Public Works and Lori in Finance. So the information is all out there. And I know people don't like to see their costs rise on anything.
That's
but,
what I heard.
yeah, but we need to, we have a utility business and we've got to make sure that it's going to be there for people. And you can see what's happening in, like you said, in Texas.
Yeah.
And in our situation, our downtime would be much longer than what they're going to be dealing with.
You're in the basics of activities of daily living. So, it's survival. Water is like so important to everybody's survival. So it really is down to, and especially with the timing right now, I think it's a timing to bring this to everybody and say, hey, listen, we got to do this. And this is why. And, it's going to be expensive. And yes, just what you just laid out, because not everybody's looking at the website. So anything I can do to explain it. I can explain it and,
Let me get you the date of that meeting, Deb. And if you can put that out and tell people, I recommend you look at this because it's a critical issue for the city.
Yeah, talk about it in more human terms and very concerning, I think.
The most human of terms for me is that you can survive without water for 3 days. You can go food much longer, sleep much longer, but to me, we have a responsibility to do everything we can. If there's an event that we can have water to at least one location in the city within 3 days.
And we should tell them how much water they should have stored too.
Yep. Yeah.
So be of service to the people too and educate them.
Sure. And that's all of the, that information is on the emergency management portion of the website.
But as you're seeing with the COVID thing, we have a lot of people in the community that are not computer savvy. And they're
Yeah.
not even signing up for the vaccination. So I'm trying to reach the human form of communication to people who don't do. I mean, I had trouble finding the meeting this morning. Okay. So I had to call Rusty to figure that out, but I figured it out finally. But you know, a lot of people who are older who have not dealt with computers all the time, they don't always do the website. So
Sure.
just putting it out there in many ways is good.
Yes, yeah. And also all of our meetings are on YouTube.
Yeah, well,
So,
I don't think everybody does that, and I don't know why. So
yeah, I'm just saying, but you can also access them from your TV.
right.
Yep.
Maybe you have to show them how or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
If I can do it, they can do it.
Okay.
Okay, so does anybody have any concerns out there? Any questions or concerns that you want to bring up that we haven't talked about?
I don't want to be the only one. I mean, if you guys let me offer that first before I say the next. I have like 3 things. So
Okay, well, let's get started with one of them then.
fireworks. So the fireworks situation is the first offender was a $5,000 fine, and he got a $200 fine with community service. So I guess it's going to be brought back to the city council again on that. And I want to be involved in hearing about that. If there's anything I can do. I'm going to write up talking points. And I think it's important that we're all communicating in the same way about this. I actually talked to Justin on the state parks up in the northern end up there, Fort Stevens, and they're gonna have more. There's a piece of property that's gonna be bought or donated to the parks up right at the south of Crescent Beach. Did you know about that?
I didn't know anything about that.
We don't know anything about that.
So yeah, somebody's donating a piece of land there, which is going to be really helpful for state parks. And then also they're going to have more funding. I think with the change of the administration, there's going to be more funding for infrastructure and for lots of different things. So they're going to have more funding for help on Crescent Beach, Indian Beach, and all of that. So anyway, I'm going to work to make sure that there's somebody at each of those places. And we're talking about closing the park early that day. So that's in the works. But if we have a judge who just doesn't take the fine seriously, I guess it's going to be brought back to you and the attorney. And does anybody know about that?
Yeah, that correspondence was, I think I received a copy of it on Friday.
Uh-huh.
And the city has a municipal court judge.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that makes the decisions when somebody comes in. The police department did write a citation for a $5,000 fine. He came in, was very sincere, very apologetic, and the judge, what he's told us is that I just have trouble, when over 50% of the people in the country couldn't raise $400 if they had to say that and it was a wet night. And when that happened, and he said when there was no danger of fire, to go ahead and say that you got to pay $5,000. So he's given us some criteria. He feels that $1,000 is probably the highest end, and that's during the summer when it's dry. But so we're going to bring it back to council for discussion, probably pretty soon, because we want to be ready for the 4th of July. But he is the judge, and he gave us a good rationale for his thought process.
And what's your feeling about it?
Me?
Mhm.
I would rather not express my particular opinion because it really doesn't matter. I think it's what the council does and what the judge does.
Okay. So the city council, Nancy and Robin, will be addressing that one again. And I think at the beginning, we talked about the 5,000 to make an impression on people because maybe they wouldn't take it so serious. But I was thinking like 2,000, but 1,000 seems a little low, but I don't know. I guess but anyway, make sure I'm at that meeting or let me know about it because I'll be curious because what's going to happen is if I bring the media into this, I have the environmental porter for OPB and I have KGW. I have people that will come into this and I'm going to be tying in the North Coast Rocky Habitat into it and environmental things. And so they're going to be asking all about that. And that will be something that they ask about right away. Well, what's the fine and how are you going to do this? And, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So we just have to be all ready before I do any of that kind of stuff.
Sure, and because of the timing, I imagine that we will find a way to get this on the March workshop,
Okay.
which is second Tuesday. I'm sorry, I don't have the date in front of me.
Okay.
All right, do we have anybody else? Diane, I noticed you're on the line. Do you have a question? Diane, you're on mute.
It'd be the 9th.
Well, she's still there or not. Les, Lynn, do you have any questions? Everybody's frozen.
Well, and Jan's on.
And Jan's on. There's,
Hi, we're here. We're just listening in, trying to keep up with what's going on while we're gone.
it's good to hear that. Good to see you guys again.
It's sunny. It's sunny and warm here.
Are you in
Um,
Texas?
Yes, we're in Texas.
Ah,
Yeah, we were okay through the big storm. Anyway, we're just listening in to kind of try and keep up with stuff and know what's going on so we don't lose track. Thanks for
okay.
taking care of things for us, though. We appreciate it.
Well, it's good to see you, even if we're just looking at your ceiling right now. There you go.
Okay.
Jan, do you have anything you'd like to comment on?
Would I like to see some sunshine?
I'm just listening right now. Thank you so much for having this.
Okay, no problem. And Diane, are you there? I don't think she's there yet. All right, anybody else have anything? All right. Deb, did you have another thing else to say?
What's that?
Did you have something else you wanted to bring up?
Well, I always have something to bring up. I'm full of lots of ideas. So, especially now with COVID, I mean, you sit here and I can create all day long because there's, that's what you do. So anyway, what I'm trying to work on is I want to have I'm going to focus mostly on the fireworks things for the next 3 months. And I want to do it really well because everybody's saying that it's not going to be enforced. And I want to make sure it is enforced. So I'm like taking this really seriously. It means a lot to me because of what happened with my cousin with the fires at Opal Creek. And when they said that, you know, Opal Creek probably, you know, that it wasn't going to burn. Well, it did. And the gorge burned and Lincoln City burned. And, you know, I've got a fair amount of fear about Cannon Beach catching fire now. And maybe that's because of my experiences, but I feel it's a kind of a mission to make sure it doesn't. And, you know, I don't think that we're overreacting to it because it did happen in all those places. And our safety is like super important. And Ecola Park is one of the most beautiful places in Oregon. So, you know, it's kind of an emotional issue for me. So anyway, I see the reasons why we're doing this also is for the environment and the birds. And so I'm going to do a whole thing about all the birds that are affected by this. And I had spoken to Tabia and the black oyster catchers. There were 16 chicks this year and only 2 of them survived at Crescent Beach. So I'm trying to learn about all of that right now. And the puffins, OPB just did the thing on the puffins. It was on last night. So that's really good to watch that. But the puffins are declining as well. So And then I talked to Hannah of Litter Busters, and she says she's still cleaning up confetti from the fireworks. So I think those are really the three biggest issues for us with the fireworks, besides the fear for the pets and wildlife and so forth. But I kind of want your support, all of your support, and I want to write this up and have everybody involved. I don't want to just be on my own on this. I want to, if I'm going to bring the media into this, I really want to have other people that support me in it. And, you know, like Tabia said she'd speak. I'll get North Coast Rocky Habitats, Audubon Society. I want to make it a thing and really impress upon people why we're doing this. So, and I really like the support of the city to, if, you know, they want to talk to somebody at the city, that we're all on the same page in communication about this, because I'm getting tired of hearing people say that it's not going to be enforced. I think we have to enforce it because, you know, a fire could happen. And so.
Deb, this is Bruce. It is being enforced.
Okay.
Where the difference is what the point that Judge Walter wanted to make is that he finds it hard to have a punishment that is much greater than what the event was. And in the case that came before him, again, it was a wet night. It was very low likelihood of fire spreading, anything like that. And then just to say, bang, $5,000 just to, you know, as a deterrent to other people and you, he feels that that's not the way that we should be making our laws. And so, so he is supportive, but he says, I can't support $5,000 for a firework on a wet night. So that's what the discussion we want to have. But it is being enforced.
I don't remember it being wet either.
Well, I mean, that was what his comment was. That was well, I'm just
Look at the weather.
relaying what he had said.
Yeah, in the summer too, it'll all depend on how dry it is this year, but you know, with climate change and all these fires happening and so forth, I think we have to be on guard. And maybe it's more of an educational thing. I can understand that. But I think Jason was really pretty solid on having it be a $5,000 fine because he wanted to make an impression. And so I think he had a reason for that. So maybe it was too much. But maybe we could compromise too. And maybe the judge, what was the fine for the Columbia Gorge? Yeah, my God. What would be the fine if Ecola Creek burned down? Or, you know, all the woods up here, or the Ecola Park, or what would be the fine for that? You know, so I would debate him on it, but I don't know if that's my place to do it, but
Okay, do we have any other topics that we want to talk about today? Karen, how's the pickleball going?
I'm sorry.
How's
Pickleball going.
the pickleball court?
We have a good news story on that. We had a great parks meeting, tons of input. Majority of it was advocating us offering this sport in Cannon Beach, but it looks like the Parks Committee came to a consensus and made a recommendation to staff that we go ahead and stripe the tennis courts, both of them with 2 pickleball courts each. And we have a proposed net management process that I'm working with Randy Neal and Carmen Swikert to finalize and be able to bring that forward for action.
So we're going to have 2 pickleball courts now?
So we'll have 2 pickleball courts for each tennis court. So either sport can be played on either court.
Okay, well, that turned out pretty well. Yeah. Good.
we better all get lessons, for God's sake.
Well, it's extremely popular, so.
Yeah, well, I'm curious what it's all about.
Betty, you've been awful quiet. Are you, how are you doing?
You're talking about me?
Yes, yes.
I'm just getting used to winter, that's all, and to hibernating. But the only thing I'm concerned with the new property on the corner of Hemlock they just took out another slash of trees, and in that deep hole, they're going to build a house, and that's always been a water swamp, I thought. So it's concerning to me that that whole block now is denuded of trees, and buildings are going up, and I don't know if more trees are going to be planted, but I sure hope that we used to have I thought a rule that if you took out trees, you planted them somewhere else. So I hope that's something we could think about, because we've now lost at least 13 trees, and and I don't know. That's my only concern.
Yeah, we do. We still have that rule, but I think it really depends on the lot itself too, and whether or not the trees were in the way of the footprint. Bruce,
Yeah.
do you know what's going in that lot? Is that a house that's going into that lot?
I believe it's a house.
Yeah, are we talking about the corner of Taft and Hemlock?
Yeah.
Yes. Right.
The good news there is we put a new storm system in, because the very issue that Betsy brings up is that it was a area where a lot of the adjoining lots were just letting their runoff water drain into that, which is
Right.
against our ordinance.
Okay.
And so we were able to work with the folks that built recently there and their contractor that cleared the lot. And they assisted us with putting a new system in. So stormwater will be dealt with. You don't
Okay.
want to plant trees over the top of our storm system. But
Okay.
when that's all done there, as far as being developed, we're going to see if there's any pockets of areas that we might be able to plant some trees that don't obstruct our storm drains, and it's not on that person's private property unless they're open for that. And they've been very good to work with the city. So I think we'll be able to address it going forward. But the main thing is that storm drain and that water sitting there has been addressed.
Okay, good, because that used to be such a little swamp.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All
it's good
right.
to know that the city is, like, it's good to know the city is so concerned about keeping the trees. So that makes me very happy.
Was it Tree City just recently?
Mhm.
Don't you
Yeah.
announce that?
We just got our confirmation that we remain a Tree City USA community. So that is our focus, and it'll continue to be our focus. And we just got notice that our certification has been renewed for this year. So yay.
Yeah.
Oh, that is great news.
Yeah, we have I think a pretty strong tree cutting ordinance here in town. And I know it's constantly being reviewed, because I think I've seen it. I've either covered it as a reporter or seen it as a city councilor. Oh, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. So it's reviewed pretty often.
Mhm.
So it's pretty,
Great. That's
pretty
great.
strong ordinance. Yeah. Hopefully it's followed.
Yes.
Anybody else have any other questions or concerns?
Can we talk about parking?
Parking, oh, our favorite subject, yeah.
We got to make it positive. So I'm on that meeting at 8 o'clock on Wednesday mornings with the business people, and I've been hearing lots of different ideas, and just kind of curious. And I think Bruce said that you're gonna hire another study or something. And there's been people talking about making Hemlock. I was down there just yesterday. It's been busy. And I'm worried I'm going to hit somebody. They just charge across the street, and there's no kind of like flow of people walking even, or, I mean, I really am scared I'm going to hit somebody. And somebody was hit last summer, I guess. So directing traffic or having it one way or making, I don't know. I mean, I'm not the one to answer all of that, but I was just exploring what options there are, and the poor people in the presidential streets, and all of that. So, and I
Bruce,
heard that the chamber's looking at that too. I'm not sure exactly what, but.
Bruce, would you like to talk about the transportation study?
Sure. This year, the city was able to be awarded a transportation study grant. And it gives us the chance to look at all of the transportation related issues in the city. Probably take about a year. And first of all, we gain a good deal of knowledge out of it. Parking is one of the issues that will be looked at. And by having a transportation study that's completed, it puts us in a better position to apply for grants with the Department of Transportation or other organizations to be able to get some funding assistance for our projects. And speaking of funding assistance for a project, again, I want to congratulate Public Works. We're looking to do a four-way stop at, what's the street?
Warren Way and
Warren Way and Hemlock. And they were able to get a $100,000 grant. And the city is funding, I think it was $38,000 out of, from existing funds. But those are the kind of things that staff is working on to try to get funding to ease the burden on some of the projects that we have coming up.
But parking will be part of that transportation study, right?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I think there's going to be a lot of infrastructure funding coming this way because that's one thing that they'll be able to agree on, hopefully. But safety issues with people crossing the street in the midst of the busiest of summer, I think is something too. I don't know what the answer is to that. Will that be part of the parking study too, or the traffic?
It may be. I think I had this right. I thought that Jason had said that there's nothing saying that you can't cross mid-block. And also I think it would be very difficult to enforce because you have to be right there to see it.
Right.
And
That type of stuff won't be part of the transportation study, but the problematic intersections that are very busy, like Sunset where Pelican is, where you have a lot of vehicle and pedestrian traffic, as well as first and second intersections. Those we specifically asked the traffic study team to take a good look at.
Good. Okay.
Hey, Deb, question for you. Let me digress back a little bit on fireworks. Have you done anything to work with Costco regarding the firework packs that they sell each year? I was just there this weekend and they have some of their packs out and they're much smaller than they were last year. They're little sparklers and very different. So I don't know if you've contacted them and let them know that we have put a ban and see if you can engage them and maybe not selling those big, large packs they used to sell. Or is there any interest in doing that, or maybe working with Seaside and their fireworks stands that they have out there?
Good idea. So yeah, I would like to know more about that. I don't know. So.
And we can't stop them, but we can sure, if nothing else, just engage them to advise people when they buy fireworks that they're illegal in Cannon Beach.
Yeah, maybe we could do a flyer. They could hand out to people or something. I'll look into that. Thanks, Karen.
Well,
That's great feedback.
my understanding is fireworks are illegal on the entire Oregon shore, not just in Cannon Beach. And that when we redid our ordinance, we took those more restrictive beach.
They are legal in the city of Gearhart on the beach.
Are you sure it's not the
As of
entire
right now.
Oregon shore? Because when I was on the council, it seems like, and that came up that we were going to start working on the fireworks issue, that it turned out that they already are illegal on the Oregon shore. Am I wrong about that?
except for Gearhart.
Why except for Gearhart?
I haven't seen anything be published to say that that's a final decision. I know it's been talked about, but I haven't seen anything published that says up and down the north coast that it is illegal on all beaches.
Oh, wow.
Trevor just looked something up and he said that they are banned on all Oregon beaches.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Parks jurisdiction. It's
Yeah.
Gearhart.
Pardon?
So, yeah, it isn't Gearhart's jurisdiction on the beach.
I'm sure you're correct. Somebody told me that they don't really do anything about it in Gearhart, so I'll try to find more, but I think I think that's it. And the other thing, I think because they've got all those dunes, they can be back off of the beach, maybe, I don't know, but they're pretty proud of their homegrown fireworks displays.
Mhm.
Mm,
Well, I mean, they do have a huge distance between the houses and the actual beach.
Yeah,
So that part.
they have a lot more dune.
By the state
Hmm.
parks department, which is probably why they have fireworks, but that's not us.
And it's all grass. It's good.
Yeah, good luck with that. But-
yeah, because the beach grass sometimes
Send me
catches
that
fire.
link.
The beach grass in Manzanita caught fire and burned a house down.
Yeah. So, no, that's not us. We don't have to deal with that, so.
That's a good, anything, any help with that or any feedback, I will take it on. So thank you, Karen.
Okay, anybody else?
Nancy, did you get Rick Hudson's
No.
memo this morning?
No,
You might want to read that, or do you want?
go ahead and you read it. I guess Rick sent in a,
I can open my phone up.
Lolly just sent it to me.
Okay, here he says, I will not be attending the meeting this morning, working at cash sites while I have rented equipment. Topics that could be shared and that already been sent out to the community: COVID-19 decrease in positive cases regionally and nationwide. Mutated strains of COVID are still present in testing. Mass discipline will most likely need to be continued through 2021. Vaccine drastic increase of promised delivered vaccines to Clatsop County Public Health and to public pharmacies to arrive 1,000 a week for the next 4 weeks. CERT team to provide vaccine registration assistance Wednesday from 11 to 1 at the library. CERT team to staff community mask handout Thursday, City Hall 2 to 4. Cannon Beach Community Bulletin rollout very soon. I spoke to Rusty and he can provide demo if requested.
demo of what?
The rollout on the Cannon Beach Community Bulletin.
Can you talk to us about that?
Well, we've been working on coming up with another means of sending out information of basically of meetings or events or anything else that's separate from what Rick has been doing before. He sends out sit reps, which show basically emergency type events or news or that kind of thing, COVID information. But we're actually going to be sending out a bulletin on a monthly basis.
Okay.
So we are working on doing that. We're still collecting the information. We're getting close. We're thinking maybe the 1st of March or the end of February, we'll see something come out. And then you can sign up for that and you get an email with all that information.
So so that's how it's going to be done, is online?
It'll be online. It'll be posted on our website and you'll get an email notification as well. So you
Okay.
get both.
Excellent. So how do people just send to the city their email address?
So Rick has a list right now of, I think he said it's about 200, 250 addresses that he already sends out regularly to.
Okay.
So we're going to probably start with that. I believe he was going to send out a notice to the people that are on that list, make sure they want that information. And then we will advertise it and then they can add themselves a list, or they can send something to the city saying, yes, please add me that list, and we will send it to them.
Nancy, part of one of the reasons we're doing this is because we don't have a newspaper.
All right.
And so there's not a lot of coverage on Cannon Beach Elementary or the raids or fireworks. So we just want to try to fill that gap.
That's great. That's great. So everybody who wants to have a bulletin, please make sure that the city has your email address and let other people know in the city as well. That's the biggest problem, is getting that word out. There's a core of people who are always interested and involved in the city, but getting beyond that is the big problem. So let people know as much as you can that this will be available.
Also, kudos to Rick Hudson for receiving the Tom Drumheller Excellence and Leadership Award at the Chamber.
Yeah, he
So-
really is doing a good job, you know? He's our
Yeah.
he's our Dr. Fauci.
I'm sure you'd want to be a connector.
Yeah.
Why not? I love Dr. Fauci. He's most knowledgeable. You don't think he'd want to be known as Dr. Fauci?
And I think, who's got the horse?
Let's connect him with someone taller.
Yeah.
I just love him, man. I love Dr. Fauci.
But we kind of think too that Dr. Wayne is kind of the closest to
Yeah,
voice and appearance to Dr.
yeah.
Not the same. Thank
That's
you.
already connected.
I
Yeah,
know.
Dr. Fauci have a
it's already claimed.
buy one.
Well, I don't know. He may have a horse. I don't know.
Much better. Yeah. Anyway, I just got a email from Angela Benton about putting out that there's a lot of styrofoam on the beach and with litter, and they're putting out support a foam-free Oregon bill, and they're putting that out to Suzanne Weber and to prohibit food vendors from serving takeout and styrofoam. Just for side note. So it is a problem because there's a lot of takeout food now and a lot of that's ending up on the beaches.
Yep.
So styrofoam's a nasty one.
All right, we're coming up on our last 8 minutes or so of the hour. Anybody have any other burning issues or questions that they want to talk about? Kind of a
I
silent
love these meetings because I get to, it's like we're so isolated right now. So I'm so happy to see all of you. I think it's fun.
All right, well, Bruce, do you have anything else you'd like to talk about?
I don't.
My gosh, that's surprising.
Nancy, do you have anything to talk about? You want to talk too?
I think we've covered pretty much everything that's going on. I think our most interesting project is the renovation of the school, but I think our master water plan is really taking high importance. So
Yeah.
those are the two issues that we are talking about right now in the council. Robin, what about you?
Well, and just kudos to the library for being so involved with signing people up and the reader or the writers.
Yeah, we had quite the event Saturday night. The library did an online event. You can find it on Facebook, and I think we recorded it when we did it Saturday night. And I think it will also be on the website, the library's website as well. So if you're not a member of Facebook, you could probably pick it up on the library's website. It's called the Writers Read Celebration. And we put out a notice last November asking people to write some, essays, stories, poems about the theme of pandemic. We received 51 pieces from 37 writers, and a panel selected 10 writers to read 13 pieces. We had that Saturday night. It turned out to be very good. It was a lot of fun. Jeannie McLaughlin and Bob Mushin from Cannon Beach were among the writers, and we had writers from Vancouver, Washington to Salem, Oregon, and up all along the coast. It was really a fun event, and I was really glad the internet didn't go out. So, but we had quite a few viewers and really good participation. So if you're interested in that, you can go to the Facebook, the library's Facebook page. Take a look at that, and I posted it on my Facebook page, and I think it's going to be on the library website. So take a look at that. And think about entering next year. So, anybody else have anything else they'd like to say? All right, well, I think we're going to end about 5 minutes early. So thank you for joining us. Tell everybody about our event here, our Coffee with the Counselors, and we will do it next month on the third Monday. We'll be back to our third Monday schedule. So thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
Bye-bye.
see you around town.
Thanks for coming.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.